What's up, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla SPY in the overall market. But just note that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total. Not to mention 8.1% APY. This offer ends in just 7 days, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, the market's done a good job at pumping Tesla's up almost 4% right now and making a very, very nice explosive move. And it's outperforming the market to a large extent. SPY is very flat, so is the QQQ, but Tesla remains in the green, which is a very, very good sign. But the question is, what's going to happen from here? And I just want to give you guys a warning about Tesla and the market. I think that the market's done a good job at pushing, and although there is potential for it, I just want to say that it's important to note that the market has done its thing, and we're hitting some tough resistance right now, so you want to be very, very careful at these key levels. Now, the PMI report came out. As you guys can see, we had the S&P Global Composite PMI that was decent overall, but the manufacturing report was below expectations, so this was the one that was a little bit weaker. That's why the market saw a very, very nuanced reaction. The market pumped and then dumped a little bit before trying to push a little higher, and now it's trying to slow down as we hit some tough resistance. As far as Tesla goes, I'm not really seeing anything too crazy on the news, but there was some talk about Elon Musk's tweets. So Musk is saying that robotaxi is going to be as cheap as the bus, which won't be needed in his opinion once they roll out their FSD. So this is once again the words of Elon Musk right here. Musk said that the battery packs of the buses are too small and that Tesla could operate well above the Arctic Circle. And he also mentioned that buses will not be needed when Tesla rolls out the FSD, the unsupervised version of FSD, as they will take people to point for a similar cost of a bus ticket. Now, many people out there are saying that it doesn't make any sense considering lots of different factors out there, this and that. I just want to say that, look, guys, Elon Musk, he is, if you want to say an overpromiser, you could say that. Sure, that's completely understandable, but I'm not really going down that route. I just want to say this. You need to remember that Musk is a very, very big futurist, and he could be talking decades into the future about how this could end up developing. It's not like the robotaxi is going to come out and buses get replaced the day they come out. It's not going to be like that whatsoever. It may take a while, it may take years, if not decades, for a lot of these claims to really be made. But nonetheless, I do agree with the point that he's making, that FSD is changing the scope of our world. And you have to consider the fact that once the robotaxi does come out and the unsupervised FSD, it's going to have a big disruption on many different industries from Uber to Lyft, not to mention the busing industry. Now, I want to make it very clear that I can't say for sure he's correct or right or wrong about what's going to happen. And plus, we don't know the exact details of the timing. He could be talking many, many years into the future. So you have to consider all of that. Yes, Musk doesn't always have the best estimations for dates when it comes to Tesla. That's a true fact. But I just want to say that with that happening, it doesn't matter to me as much. I still think the robotaxi event is going to be massive. I can't wait to see what Tesla announces because it's still very bullish for the share price nonetheless. With all this talk about the robotaxi events and all this hype, Tesla in the market have been holding up very, very well. We also had we also had Cash Kari giving a speech, and he remained a lot more dovish, saying the Fed is going to likely cut rates even more by another 50 basis points before the year ends. That's also what helped the market push more. But the question is, what's happening here? I just want to say that despite the fact that Tesla is pushing very nicely, we're going to be looking at 247.5 as our main support. If that were to fail us, we're looking at that gap support right here in the 246 area, followed by 244 for a bigger dip if we lose the 246 zone. We have a very, very tough resistance at this 250 area. If that breaks, we're looking for 252 as our next potential target. So it's very, very tight up here. We'll see if Tesla can try to break the 250 area. It's going to be a tough resistance. And as of right now, I think that we might see a lot of shuffling up here. I don't think we're just going to break through this immediately. It may take a while for us to really get that break. So please be very, very patient. For SPY, okay, we're holding this trend line quite nicely, but I do want to give you guys a little concern. So I just want to say that it's great that we held up very nicely. We got a nice push. I did call this move out, guys. I said, watch the data when it comes out. The market was looking more bullish. SPY did push to 570, which is what my target was. However, there is an issue, and that is every time, at least historically, and I know this is like a very, very short time, but every time SPY has hit 570 to 572, although it happened one time, it has had some tough resistance there. So we have to go based off of that. This is a tough resistance zone between 570 and 572, that entire range. So it's going to be tough for SPY. Although we did hit that, we are slowing down a little bit. We're going to be looking at this support at 569. If that fails us, we're looking for the trend line very close to the 568. And if those fails, we're dipping all the way down to 565 all over again. Overall, we are on an uptrend on SPY, but just know that there is a risk of it kind of consolidating because we have a very, very tough resistance at 570, and that could slow things down. It's been a very, very choppy day, so be careful if you're holding options, especially the short dated ones, because this chop could hurt them. But just know that it's a tough resistance SPY hit. We haven't been able to break through that yet. So we will see if we get a dip here or not. I'll be watching this very carefully. So just be careful. To confirm a dip, you want to see us lose 568. And to remain bullish, you want to see us hold above 570. Otherwise, we're just kind of choppy for now. But just know resistance is getting very, very tough for SPY. Now, exactly as predicted, I said Nvidia may be dipping between 114 and 115. That's exactly where we went to. Could dip a little bit more to finish filling this gap. So it's still possible there's more downside coming before it tries to bounce. So be careful, guys. We're looking at 115.5 as one of our balance targets, if not the 114 area. So we'll see how it ends up going. For ES, we're pushing to this resistance, but every time we hit 5780 to 5800, it's a tough resistance zone. We do have a tendency of kind of rejecting around there. So I think that we're approaching this tough area. We'll have to see how we end up reacting, and we'll see if we get a rejection or not. But I think we could go a little higher right now, at least on ES. We could try to retest 5780, and we'll see if we get some kind of rejection or not. If we do get that rejection, we're looking for 5750 to break. If that breaks, we're looking for a dip. So we'll see how things end up going. For Bitcoin, we are kind of rejecting here. We're looking for 63,000 as our main support. If that fails us, we're looking for a dip to 62,500. If we hold this, we could try to rebound. We barely touched support so far, so we could do a retest of that support. But overall, I am seeing some weakness developing. But others out there like NQ, notice that we're hitting some tough resistance between 20,000 and 20,200. So we'll see how this ends up reacting around here. If we lose 19,964, this could be dipping down to 19,800. If we hold above this range, we could just remain range bound. So give it some time, may consolidate for some time, and we'll see if we get that dip. For the QQQ, we're also consolidating right over here, going back and forth and back and forth. If we lose 480, we're looking for a bigger tip to 478. If we hold above 482, we're looking for a rebound. I think we may just continue to consolidate in the 482s. We haven't broken past 480. Sorry, it's 483. We haven't broken past that yet. So we'll see how well it does. We are at some tough resistance, so we'll see how well this performs. Just be a little bit careful at this level. So we'll see if we get some kind of tip today or not, but we have to be very, very patient nonetheless. For Apple, exactly as predicted, I said might dip and bounce. I said we might be hitting 227, if not 225. If that failed us, we ended up bouncing at 226, so just in between my targets before trying to make a move back up. So we're looking at 229 as our first resistance. If that breaks, we're looking for 230, then 232. Our support's at 228. Overall, we're just shuffling for now, but there is a risk of this trying to push a little higher to 229 again. So I'm going to give this some time. For the IWM Russell 2000, we're dipping a little bit, showing some weakness. If we don't reclaim 220.53, we could be continuing to fall a little bit lower, closer to like the 218 targets. Look at 220 and 218 as supports, and we'll see how it goes. For Coinbase, we're kind of dipping right over here, so we have this resistance around this 172.5 area to 173. And if we start dipping, we're looking for 168 as our support. So we're forming kind of like a nice accumulation right over here. We could dip lower, closer to about 169 to 167, and then we'll see how it develops. For Amazon, we are at resistance. Excuse me, we're at resistance around this 193 area, so we could be dipping back down towards this imbalance at 189 if we don't hold above 191. So it's going to be another tough resistance. We'll see how well this does. If we lose 191, we're looking for the 189 area or below. For Meta, we pumped only to reject a little bit, so I was calling out this tough resistance up here. Notice how it wasn't able to really break through these key levels or hold above them. So we're at risk of coming back down here. We could actually come all the way down to 562 again. If not, down to 560. So just be careful with that. Microsoft is consolidating around this 434 area. If that fails, we're looking for a dip all the way down to 430, the 431 area, all the way back here. If we hold this, we could rebound for 436. Otherwise, we're just shuffling. But there is a risk of some downside. For Google, we're trying to break the 200 EMA, but we're kind of struggling. We're barely holding 165. If that fails, we're looking for a dip down to 163.5 all over again. And we have 166 as resistance. So we'll see if we get that rejection or not. With that being said, I just want to thank you all so much for listening. Just know that the market's at some tough resistance. That's going to be close to this 250 area for Tesla. Might see a lot of shuffling, and if Tesla ends up losing the 246 zone, there could be a bigger dip coming. So please be careful, guys. I just want to give you guys a heads up about that, and make sure you guys watch things very, very carefully. With that being said, thank you for listening. Watch these levels. Just know the market's at some tough resistance, and we'll see how it develops from here moving forward. Have a great day, guys. I will see you guys very soon in the next one, and peace out.